How to create mirrored volumes in Windows Server 2008. The mirrored volumes or RAID 1 is used for data redundancy in servers. RAID is the short form of redundant array of independent disks, which is used for data redundancy from lowest level on a desktop computer up to a data center level. The RAID 1 or mirroring uses two hard disks, and as the name itself, one will be the mirror of the another one. Whatever changes we make in the data will be affected on the two hard disks simultaneously. Because of that, if we lose one of our hard disks, the data is still there and accessible by the users. In this picture, you will be able to understand how RAID volumes work. All the data in disk 1 and disk 2 are redundant, and each volume on RAID 1 has a backup in the other hard disk. So if disk 1 goes down, you can still access data from disk 2, and if disk 2 goes down, you can still access data from disk 1. Now we will go on to a Windows Server 2008 machine and we'll have a look at how to create a mirrored volume using two hard disks. By the way, we are creating software mirrors here, and we have hardware RAID solutions also available, which supports creating RAID volumes even before installing the operating system. So you have to keep that in mind. We are now logged on to a Windows Server 2008 machine where I have added additional two hard disks to do a mirroring. Now I need to initialize those disks from my server manager. So I can go and open up the server manager first. Go to the storage and disk management. And you can see the two hard disks that I have added to this computer for doing the mirroring, disk 1 and disk 2, and it is labeled as unknown disk. So I have to right click on this disk 1 and click on online to bring the disk online. I have to do this on both disks, and I will click on refresh. And now I need to initialize this. It says that not initialized, so I can right click on initialize disk, select the two disks that I want to initialize and click on OK. So I have the two basic disks that I need to create mirrored volumes. To create a mirrored volume, I can just right click on this unallocated space and click on mirrored volume, and a wizard will pop up and I can click on next. I can add the hard disk that I want to use for this mirrored volume. Only two is allowed for mirrored volumes because even if we have three hard disks, we will not be able to add more than two hard disks for creating mirrored volumes. I can give a space of 10 GB. So you can see that in both hard disk it takes 10 GB from each, and the total volume size is also 10 GB. This is because one hard disk is the mirror of the other one, and you will not be able to use the space of the second hard disk for your own purpose. And I can click on next now and assign a drive letter. Click on next. You can perform a quick format and click on next and click on finish, and it will say that the operation you selected will convert the selected basic disk to dynamic disk. If you convert the disk to dynamic, you will not be able to start installing operating system from any volume on the disk except the current boot volume. So I can click on yes for that, and it has converted to the dynamic disk. And this is now formatting, and it will take a couple of minutes, so I will just pause the video here, and I will be right back after this completes. The formatting of the hard disk has completed, and I am back to the disk management console. So here you can see that from this one and this 2, 10 GB of space has been taken, and it has been assigned the drive letter of E, and if we open up the computer, we can see we have only one partition with drive letter E, even if 10 GB of space is taken from both disk 1 and disk 2. So if we add any kind of data to this E drive, the data will be written simultaneously to both the hard disk, and if one hard disk fails, we can get the data from the other one. So we will check that now. We will just create some files and folders in our E drive, which is a mirrored volume. And then we will just remove this hard disk or take it offline, and you can see that here we have an error message saying that it has failed redundancy. That's right, it has failed redundancy. We do not have redundancy now because we only have this disk 2 running on our computer. But even if the redundancy failed, we will be able to access our data from the E drive without any problem. So we do not have our disk 1 here, we have only disk 2 up and running, and we have all our data available here. So this is the importance of mirrored volume in data redundancy, and this is how it is done on Windows Server 2008 using software mirroring. I hope this was informative for you, and thank you for watching.